And welcome to the show from Ecotricity. It's Gavin Shoebridge. Gav, good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure.
Look, there's a million things we can talk about. I've long been a proponent of the electric car. I've even contacted Tesla in the last 2 weeks to go, now I watched the model in America and I see how people are saying basically there's an offset that for the cost of fuel and all those things, I can get into an electric car for like a neutral investment. Like people are paying X amount per week and it ends up being sort of what they're paying for fuel, what they're paying on other car payments. But here in New Zealand, when I ask them, it's like hundreds of dollars a week, and I'm like, it's beyond my reach. So for a long time I've been saying I want an electric car. I would go electric tomorrow, especially now that the ranges are better. I live in Dunedin, as long as I can get to Queenstown and I can get to Christchurch, which we can now with plenty of electric cars range, I'd be in it. So it'd be great to talk to you about that. However, just so everybody understands, the reason we're into this conversation is that there was an announcement made. Sorry, did I say you're from Ecotricity? I didn't know. There's Ecotricity. We'll talk about that in a sec. But there's been an announcement made that Britain, which I guess is the UK technically, will ban gasoline cars in 2030. Some people are saying it's insightful, decisive, amazing decision. Some people here, are saying, oh, we're not so impressed with it. So I thought someone like yourself who reviews cars, EVs, as a part of your kind of life might be a good person to talk to about this idea. So do you have anything to share at the moment to start off with on this idea of Britain banning gasoline cars? And now, for clarity, that's banning the sale of new gasoline cars. It's not like petrol stations are going to disappear or fossil fuel cars are going to disappear off the roads. But from 2030, if you want to buy a 2031 Hyundai anything or Mazda anything in the UK, it'll be electric.
It's inevitable. It's going to happen because obviously the climate's in a bit of a tricky situation right now. Climate change is ramping up. It's a feedback loop is beginning. So we've really got no choice. The thing is, in 2030, you're not going to want to buy an internal combustion engine for your general driving because the technology is increasing at such a rate that, for example, some vehicle manufacturers hope that by 2025, the cost of an electric car will be on par with their internal combustion offerings. So give it a few more years, and not only will electric cars cost the same as internal combustion, but they're going to start getting even cheaper because they're much simpler devices, and battery manufacturing costs are constantly falling. Capacity is constantly increasing. So it might sound kind of terrifying right now that, oh gosh, in 8 years from now, you won't be able to buy a new internal combustion engine, but in 8 years from now, you're not going to want to.
Yeah, and I watched a video just yesterday actually online that says there's some technology out there in its infancy to do with batteries that they're getting full charges on cells the size of a car in under 15 minutes. And if you think
about solid state,
I'm not saying that technology is there today to be put in cars, but and I said to someone the other day, I looked at a movie that said it was set in 2153. And I thought, imagine where we've come in the last 100 years, and imagine, like in technology, imagine what the technology will be in 100 years from now, let alone 5 years from now. So, yeah, I'm on board. I'm your perfect person for this sort of idea because I'd be in one today if I could. But up until now, you've had that sort of issue around range, issue around charging time, but those seem to be getting solved. I mean, I'm seeing fast chargers around the world, putting 80% power into a vehicle in 20 minutes sort of thing. And if you think, when I go to the petrol station with my fossil fuel car, it might be an 8-minute stop. So it's not that big a difference. And also, of course, chuck it in the charger when we get home overnight and I've got it the next day. So yeah, I'm excited by it. What is there any downs? I mean, this is a weird way to say, but are there any downsides to the consumer for this? Because, so for example, I can see one downside from my side of things, but it's inevitable, which is that whole industry that's employing those people for fossil fuels at the moment will disappear at some stage, not in 2030, because obviously probably 99% of the cars on the road will still be that. But it's much like I used to talk about, what about people who develop film, from cameras? Those jobs are gone because technology moved on. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting perspective.
So that means that's going to be for those individuals that will be a downside. But are there anything else? Like I remember Top Gear back in the early days talking about, what had to happen with the batteries and where the stuff had to be mined from and how they got disposed of. And their thought in the early days of EVs were talking about actually, my car, which is made 20 miles off the road and doesn't have to go across the across the world to get its battery pieces and stuff could be actually better for the environment. Has that all been addressed by now, or are there
Oh,
still some
absolutely.
concerns
Yeah.
around the
No,
process?
there's study after study proven that electric vehicles, even when you take the mining of the batteries into consideration, lifetime emissions much cleaner than internal
Right.
combustion could ever be. And the thing is, the electricity for an electric car is only getting cleaner. We've constantly installing more solar, more wind. There's new projects being announced all the time. It's just getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Once you've burned a tank of gas, it's in the environment. Can't get it back. Whereas batteries, you can. And what happens with most new makers now, they have recycling plans or repurposing plans for vehicle batteries once they've used their end of life. But then again, you get car batteries now having 8-year warranties. I mean, 8-year warranty on a car battery alone.
Yeah.
That's got to give you some confidence. I mean, household appliances don't even have 8-year warranties.
What about when batteries wear out? Like we all know, like on my laptop at the moment, the battery will only last a couple of hours as opposed to 10 like it's supposed to because of the wear and tear. Are we going to get to a point? And whereas like a fuel tank, I mean, when I was 30, I had a 40-year-old car. I had a 1960s BMW, and obviously that fuel tank was still working just fine. Are we going to get to a point of this technology where batteries aren't going to degrade like they seem to be now, or will that be always a part of the process and a part of the? Because it makes me kind of think that the resale of EVs at the moment, like I'd never buy an EV that was like 10 years old if it hadn't had some kind of new batteries put into it. And it seems that putting new batteries into an EV is quite expensive at the moment. Is that something that will eventually go away, or am I just completely wrong with that concern at the moment?
Well, I'd love to predict the future, but all I can do is look at the last 10 years, like when cars like the Nissan Leaf and the Mitsubishi i-MiEV came out. That was early battery technology. In 10 years, a lot has happened. Now, those batteries had maybe 3-year warranties, things like that. Now we're getting 8-year warranties.
Right.
It stands to reason that with the influx of solid state batteries, which are being tested now, that batteries already outlast the car. It just
Okay.
stands to reason that that they're just going to get better and better as they are. That the energy capacity per kilogram is just ramping up. It's an exciting time to be really interested in electric vehicles because the technology is just racing ahead.
Yeah, I'm somewhat jealous of watching. I think I looked on your Facebook page today, and there was a brand new Audi being tested and stuff. If you could pick any EV, like if I could wave my magic wand and say you can have your EV of choice, what would you have sitting in your driveway that you personally own?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, it's going to be a toss-up between the Tesla Model 3
Yeah,
because it's a driver's car. It feels good, and while America used to be the laughing stock of the automotive world, they're now making arguably the best vehicles in the world when it comes to Tesla and electric vehicles. Or the Hyundai Ioniq 5 because it just looks radical. It looks like something out of Blade Runner, and I love that they've got they've taken the chance of making a car that still looks like a concept and putting it into production. So Ioniq 5 or Tesla Model 3, one of those two. They're just both remarkable machines. And I'm already, the car I drove yesterday at the launch of the Kia EV6, this is a car that can do 520 Ks per charge.
amazing.
And this is 2021 technology. Imagine by 2030, we're going to be doing well over 1,000 Ks per charge. The cost is going to be less than an internal combustion vehicle. Why would you buy an internal combustion vehicle in 2030 anyway?
It's to be honest, all the bells and whistles are great in the vehicles, and I know that especially we as guys kind of go, oh, look at these flash things that can do, but really the only thing that matter is range. I think for 99% of the people, 99% of the time, it doesn't matter if it can get to 100 k's an hour in 1.9 seconds because you don't use that. They're all toys and bells and whistles. Really, the only thing that I think will ever hold back EVs, not in the future, obviously, but in the past, is price and range. Because that's all that really matters.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I wish that the topic of climate was talked about more often because it affects all of us. It's going to happen. Climate change is happening whether you like it or not. But you're right. We vote with our wallets, and no one wants range anxiety. And
Yeah.
when I first got into electric cars, I built one back in 2007, using lead acid batteries just to drive around New Plymouth. This is before the Nissan Leaf existed. And then I got myself a city range electric car when I lived in Europe. That was great, but that was never going to convince anyone. We need cars with long range and that are affordable. And fortunately, they're happening. Fortunately, we're getting there. We're getting there. But for the majority of people who just need to save money on gas, don't overlook. I know it's been said a lot, but don't overlook the Nissan Leaf as a used car. For a lot of people, that will fit a lot of needs. I mean, it's testament to the fact that I see 1,000 a day driving around the streets, that even used Nissan Leafs still fill a lot of voids in people's lives.
I want to win Lotto before
Yeah, me too.
before the Ford 150 Lightning gets here.
Oh yeah. That's an
That's
exciting
me,
one.
baby. That's me. I'm all over that. The 150 Lightning, because that just looks like an app. I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude. I've got a bad back. So I was actually, when I was talking to Tesla the other day, I was thinking about the X, because it's a bit more hot, it's a bit more raised and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not even going to be in country for like 12 months. The guy's saying, I'm like, so I mean, I was never going to be able to afford them anyway. But that I want something that's got a bit of height to it. And I'm like, Ford 150 Lightning. That'll be me. So if we can organise me winning Lotto before then, that would be perfect, and I'll take the first one into the country. Thanks very much.
I'll see what I can do. Talk to my friends at the Lottery Commission.
Before we go, let's tell people about Ecotricity, what you guys are, what you do, and then people can check you out for themselves.
Well, what might be really interesting for anyone listening or watching is to check out the EV Buyer's Guide at ecotricity.co.nz. We've got every single vehicle that's on sale in New Zealand today. There's a price and a range slider bar, so you'll find something, if not in your price range, then at least with your desired range. There's something for everyone there. New vehicles, used vehicles, you've got all the specs, all the prices. So if there's any uncertainty, maybe an electric car is right for me, maybe it's not, head to ecotricity.co.nz, check out the EV Buyer's Guide. You'll find something there for you, for sure.
So there you go. I've just done it. If people, for example, are looking to get into the market, I just had a look, under $15,000. There's a Nissan Leaf right now, 135 kilometers range. That'd be perfect around your city. I mean, here in Dunedin, I probably do a tank of gas every 2 to 3 weeks, which is probably 500k. So I might do, let's say I do 200k's a week. So that would actually do me for 3 or 4 or 5 days in Dunedin.
And no servicing, no belts or pulleys or spark plugs or filters or exhaust repairs. All gone forever. Never again. Not a single stop to a gas station unless you want to buy a $5 pie.
Yeah, good reason. All right, so that is Ecotricity, one word, .co.nz. All the information's there. Gavin Shoebridge, thanks so much for joining us. I'm very glad we've been able to connect, because you're probably going to become our go-to guy to talk EVs. I think.
I'm just faking it.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to talk to you, and I do appreciate you giving us a few minutes.
My pleasure, mate. Cheers.